Okay, and now Marge, you can take over.
Okay. So fiscal 21 budget going, the grants coming into us was $5,700, but there's $1,136 that was left over either for some from last year where people didn't use the money because of COVID and everything's canceled, and others were actually, we discovered a little bit from the year before that didn't happen, or people didn't request reimbursements. And at this point, there is an expiration date, so we have to say sorry. So that's why we're up to 66. It would be 6836, and then there's miscellaneous expenses for mailing and all of the stuff that goes along with that. So 6786 is where we start. What I thought we could do is just go down the list, first pass, and just see if anybody, we'll review the list. Like, I'm saying more for everybody, but mostly for Bob because this is his first time. We'll go down the list probably 3 or 4 times before we settle on anything. And please feel free to chime in.
Real quick, Marge, I have a question for you. How much money can we put aside and save for next year? Do we have an amount if we decide not to allocate?
It's 5%.
Okay, 5%.
Usually that is for maybe something that the council wants to do. If we've got to send out, say, a survey to people or things like that. But okay. I believe, Judy, Lucy, you can correct me if it's wrong. I thought it was 5%.
It is 5%. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Is there a request? Is anybody interested in setting aside? Linda, the reason you asked,
I'm always in favor of tucking a little bit away for the just in cases in life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things happen.
Yeah.
So can we do that if we don't have a just in case in mind? Or like, is it got to be set aside for a particular thing, or can we do what Linda wants? Or
I don't believe we have to name it, but I think that we have to request it. Like, I'm guessing now, or we'd have to adjust the annual report. Lucy, you and I did that last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we just have to adjust the annual report like we did because of what happened the year before. So.
Okay, just to keep the options open.
Yeah, so I don't believe that would be a problem. And of all the years to try something different for us, I think we can get away with a whole lot of oopses because of COVID. So now's the time.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yes.
Did everybody go over the applications? And, I know Linda is big on setting aside a spreadsheet, and Marge is the same way. And,
Are you calling out my OCD tendencies right now, Lucy? Okay.
Kind of sounds it.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
I think everybody should be a little OCD. I'm in favor.
Yeah.
But that did sound like a little bit of a slam. Just kidding.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that everybody got to look over the applications, and, I hope that you really read through them, because some of them have a little bit of the fine print where, when you look over the applications and you don't see that, there's one in there from New York, and their headquarters are in Worthington. So, just that little bit of fine print that you need to be looking at. So.
Yeah, and
in your decision,
there's so many of us that we.
Yeah, I was surprised this year. The breadth of the region of people asking for money was very different than past years.
Yes. Yeah.
That was one of my questions. Is there like a mission statement for the Cultural Council? Is there like a geographic restriction or area? Because I was a little confused with, like you mentioned, Worthington, Pittsfield. Those are. Is that normal? Is that typical?
I think this is the first year I've seen it go that far out, geographically wise. I mean, normally we are getting them from the Hampshire County and Hampden County, but never Eastern Mass or Northern Mass or even New York.
Is
So.
there like a mission statement for the council itself, like something to help give a guideline or anything in terms of? I put a lot of time into reading all the applications, but I don't have. I've got about a 9-minute foundation of information of.
There is a spot, Bob, if you have a minute, or if anybody wants to fill them in. When you log on to the council, there's a tab called council information.
I probably should know that before I joined.
Below that, toward the bottom, it says council priorities.
Okay, thank you.
So one thing we've talked about in the past too, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lucy and Margie, but access. So if there's an event that's quite a distance for people from Southampton to travel to, can everyone access that event, or, just using the funds to make sure that it's kind of balanced, like, if not everyone can access it, are there things for seniors? If if all our money is going to seniors, is there also funds going to children, right? So that's a pretty big consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah, and based on, just to pull out this year's application, we don't want everything to be music. So we want to, diversify just a little bit more than any way we can. But yeah, so lots of people, specialty to Southampton residents and their accessibility, specialty to disabled, to make sure that there's accessibility for that, and then a broad stroke of all the arts.
And I think we also, I remember last year we took a lot of time making sure like the library was represented and the senior center was represented. And so we didn't have 9 programs at the senior center and 1 at the library.
Right.
So across, the organizations that are sort of getting the benefit as well.
Yep.
You know what I was thinking too, maybe the wide reach in all the different areas might be because a lot of the programs are going to be internet.
Yeah.
So they're probably reaching out to try to get all the grants they can get so they can spread their.
Survive. Yeah, survive it all.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of video production, right? We're seeing a lot of those fees that we haven't seen before. But one thing I did notice is some people still have travel fees included in their expenses. When if you're doing if it's most likely going to end up being a virtual event, maybe that would be something that we consider when we're going through how to allocate funding. If we can't give everyone everything, it makes no sense to give them travel for a virtual event, things like that.
Agree. Is this helpful, Bob?
Yeah, very much. Thank you.
Background info.
And Bob, on a normal year, a non-COVID year, what Lucy's talking about, my wacky spreadsheet, is I kind of split the town up by like preschool, elementary, middle school, high school, 20, 30, 40 senior citizens. And then I try and say, okay, at least that's how I do my vote. I want to try and cover as much of age group as I can.
Right.
That's the system I use.
Did everybody print out the applications? Or are you all on your computers looking at the panel book?
I printed them out. I can't do the looking at them all on computer. I know it's a waste of paper, but I'll shred them and put them in my garden.
It's okay. It's whatever.
Yeah, because I like to write on them. So, I write thoughts and notes and stuff across them.
Yep. Nope, I hear you. And Marge.
Yes.
Are you muted? So
I was for a second.
That's okay. Do you want to, should we just start with the first application or?
Yeah, well, how about if we do, I'm going to call out the names and we'll do a quick fast pass if anybody is like, if there's resounding no's all over, there's no reason to review.
Right.
So let's go first pass to no's and we can shorten it, I think, a little bit.
Yep.
The artist mentoring program and webinar series, consider.
Do you want us to say yes or no, or do you want us to?
Yeah, I'd like a.
Okay, so that one, I am. leaning no. Yes and no. We can discuss it, but that's my opinion.
Okay,
I'm on the
we'll
fence
just leave
with
it at
it.
that. We'll discuss if there's any flat out no's. Does anybody have any flat out no's?
I had one.
I had a couple.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bob.
To me, the one that was the largest ask on the whole sheet, it was the one in Pittsfield.
I had that as a no as well.
Yeah.
That seemed to be the least COVID possible and the furthest. That was the one that I found.
Right.
That was, to me, that one I didn't think was going to make the cut.
So that one, are we talking about the one that had the $25 admission fee?
I don't know. It was the rites of passage.
Yeah.
Right, so I know that too, just from the fact that for access, not everyone's gonna have $25 to do that as well.
Right.
Anyone wants to consider that more? Was everybody a no? Shake your head. I can see everybody shaking.
No.
Dina's a no.
Except for Dina.
Dina's a no.
Dina, shake your picture.
I can hear.
All right, so we'll eliminate that one. Were there any other no's?
Southampton free concerts, we don't have to worry about that money because that's just being rolled over.
Correct. So, yeah, that's a no consider.
And then the number 4-6, the duo pianist, they're East Coast, but they are going to be doing virtual.
And they didn't have a date set.
Right. So I'm possibly a no on that one.
I agree with that one.
Okay.
I thought the Worthington would be, that's kind of a long drive, but it's not a hard no, but I felt that that was an access limitation, just the fact that it was up in Worthington.
Right.
Yeah, I was leaning no on that one too, but we can discuss it.
Yeah.
Which one was that, Judy?
What was
That's 45066.
That's the 7 Rs?
the 7?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So other than were there any other like heavier or leaning more toward no?
Well, no.
Okay.
I was hesitant about the river stories for Valley classrooms. That's an organization that has not reached out to Norris.
I saw that.
Yeah, I had a big question
there's-
about that too. They don't list the audience, the location, and this is various. So,
I mean, I'd love it. It sounds really super interesting.
Yeah.
But that's a resource we've never had at Norris.
And they're only asking for, they're asking for their stipend. They're just asking for the $500 for stipend. It's for, it's for travel.
Yeah, $750.
Which one was this?
Oh, $750. Okay.
45535 River Stories. I mean, I would absolutely love it. It sounded fantastic. But I know at Norris, we're not having anybody coming in.
Yeah.
And Linda, it's not the towns that it says that it involves are not any of our Hampshire regional or Southampton. It's not. The closest one is Hadley, Northampton, I guess. But.
okay. Let's do a deeper dive into each individual one. And as we do, if we are all leaning no, then we'll do that at the next pass. So why don't we just start with the first one, Arts Mentoring Program. They had 10 mentees, 2 programs, 13 times. I liked the idea of it. It doesn't solidly say Southampton resident to me.
I mean, I think that for me, that's a maybe. That's a maybe if we have $50.
Yeah.
What the money does for that program is it pays for the the student to be involved, correct? The two.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that one because I was a big sister, but
Yeah.
The artist mentoring program seems like a very strong overlap with the Hilltown Family Suggest. And the Hilltown Family Suggest is 52 weeks of publication. And it's literally the Hilltowns. So that, to me, sounded and felt like a lot more bang for the dollar. One is $400, one is $350.
And it would reach a whole lot more people.
Yeah, and it's once a week, so it's teachers could use it as a resource, and it's a, I thought, I was just gonna say if it, like I'm OCD too, but I don't have the experience to have laid out the spreadsheet and such like you guys did. But to me, if my numbers are right, we have roughly $6,800 to allocate, and there's roughly $1,300 in change and ask. So if we eliminate the $2,000, we're down to $11,000. So that leaves us roughly $7,000. So there's like $4,000. If we wanted to empower everything that we could, we have to cut $4,000 if we were paring it back instead of picking favorites.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was looking at it, just trying to simplify it. So I was trying to eliminate overlap. So that was why I didn't mean to skip ahead to the bottom, but I was just going to, if we were going to do one of those two, I would advocate for the Hilltown families, just like I said, bang for the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
But I only know what I read on these sheets. So I'm trying to do more listening and responding.
You're doing fine. If you haven't noticed, we bounce around all the time. Okay, so if there's money at the end, maybe, we'll move on to the next one then, the recital film.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like it's a media situation. They also, one thing I wanted to note, they have in their application that LCC had $1,350 left over from last year. They didn't ask us for anything last year. So they're getting money from last year and beefing up their program and now asking for more communities. That's all I wanted. That's my input on that one.
And the project for that one's going to be taking place in Florence and Easthampton media.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We don't get, because we have got DirecTV, the Easthampton media, we don't have access to that. But how much is it used in Southampton? Does anybody know?
I'm not able to get it.
I don't know. I have no idea.
We don't have cable TV, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Table for a little bit?
I would table it.
All right. We're back to the duo pianists, composers, Whipple and Morales. There's no date. We sort of seemed like it was a probably no. Cursory, just go right past it. Go get to the more important ones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. River Stories for Valley Classroom. You like it, Linda? You think it's a good thing? I don't think that I'm not sure that they did their due diligence in reaching out to the audience or where they're going to have it. And I don't believe that's our place to do.
Right. And I asked around the school and nobody had reached. I asked different teachers from their grade levels. Nobody's even heard of them before.
Okay.
I just think it doesn't really, especially if they're not even reaching out to our town, they're not listing, any of the towns that are sort of around. They're Hampden County and wherever Tuck Valley is.
Well, I think that's us. I think that it said the Norwottuck and Nonotuck Valley. I think it might be referring to where that massacre was out by the Oxbow.
Right, they're calling out. I get that there's a tie because we're all in the valley, but if they're not even reaching out to the Southampton schools to participate in this, it seems like they're just missing.
It reads to me like it might be a new organization that's trying to get their footing, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a guess. But it wasn't one that resonated with me terribly much.
I like the idea of it. I just wish it was more targeted, I guess. Or was involving Southampton, or was in communication with the Southampton schools. Like, if there was, because, I think especially the Native American, that would be an interesting thing to know. There's a lot of Native American history in this area, but it's not even coming back to us.
I wonder if maybe they don't reach out to the.
Oh, you're muted, Judy.
Yeah, thank you. I wonder if they don't reach out to the schools until they know that they have funding secured.
But that's part of our decision.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean,
That they plan to reach out, at least saying, if they put in there, hey, we've done it in these communities, but we want to outreach and expand to these communities, I think it would be different. But it's saying that the history is in Hatfield, Hadley, Northampton, Westfield, and that's where our focus is. That's what it said to me.
Yeah, Agawam, Springfield to the state line. It just seems to skirt. And again, I would have an interest in the Nahuatl tribe and, all that. And if they at least included Southampton, they were reaching out and saying, well, this is the program, but we're going to reach out to the Hampshire Regional School District. It would be a little different. It just seems like it's not there.
I'm sorry, I'm going to be a no for this one. Just, you can put mine as a no for this one. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm pretty sorry.
I have, for some reason, I have Plymouth next to it. Is that where they're located?
No, they made a mention about there's going to be a celebration at Plymouth Rock.
Oh, the 400-year. Okay.
Yeah. So they're. I think that I think like everything, I think there's potential. Like I said, to me, it read like somebody who maybe is just still getting their paperwork together and figuring out how to do this. So if we deny somebody, is there any follow-up or any?
Well, we send letters, and we can be. I try not to do too specific because I don't want to tie our hands. But I would, like for this one, I would let them know that they weren't specific enough, and if they honed in on their targeted audience, got approval, maybe even a date set, I'd be very excited about it.
It sounds like they might be anticipating that they need to get the money first and then do the program instead of locking in the program and looking for the reimbursement. That's what it feels like maybe.
It might be, but the problem is we give them the money and then they don't lock on our target. Then
I'm sure to probably not, especially with the $750 tag.
Right.
Well,
And
I think if they're
how it
not going to, go ahead, Lucy.
I was just going to say that's not how the program works. We reimburse, we allocate the money to the programs that have had the events. We're not, giving them the money so they can have the event. We are giving them the money after they had the event. So, they don't even have a date set. They're saying they're targeting 10,000, is it 10,000?
1,000 students.
Why is it?
Is that the one that's video though?
My brain is not working right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, I moved ahead.
Oh, it is 10,000.
Yeah,
right?
I moved ahead to the next one. I apologize.
Yep. So,
Do they plan on doing that via video? I can't pull it up on my screen and I didn't make a note of that one.
yeah. And it says it does primarily serve school children. Yes. It's an in-school event. But, and they're saying it's going to take place in 2021. I don't think anything's going to be taking place in school in 2021, except for hopefully school. I don't know.
Right.
So,
let me say this. I don't think that they're going to expire. I would prefer to say no to them and give them a suggestion to reach out, get more specific, and come back next year.
right.
I agree with that because I do like the concept of it. I just really think it's just missing us.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay.
And especially since we have a shortage of funds to fund everybody, I would rather fund the people that have specifically targeted our
Right.
benefit.
Right.
But I do like them, so I think feedback would be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I got to take a note. So I can be clear about that in the letter.
Because I agree with Bob, they might just not get it, but I don't think we can take the chance.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody agree? Okay, good. So let's go on to the next one then, the 7 Hours Music Festival, classical jazz, and it's in Worthington. And I realize there's a lot of New York spillover, and it seems like the Vultures was their target audience. But
I have a no to this one.
I noted
Out
just
there with
because
that.
of driving to Worthington for a lot of people can be tricky, no matter what age you are.
I was thinking of it as maybe a partial at the end if we had any money, just because it's actually what I would refer to as a primary market destination. It's kind of a famous place that because we're close to it, we don't realize how famous it is. In the musical community, it's that festival is
The 7 Hours in
in the
Worthington.
top in the top tier in the whole country. But I think it's literally, it's like a best kept secret, and it's little tiny audiences, so people don't understand that super famous, super tier artists go there. If you do the research, it's a pretty amazing setup. But I do think, like you said, I don't know as though it would be promoted or enough people from Southampton would take advantage of it. So I had it as I wish we had enough money, because I think it's a spectacular event. But with $6,900, I don't think it's going to make a final cut.
Is that a no from everybody, or we'll just wait to see if there's any leftover?
I mean, I'd like to
Sounds
see,
like a
wait
no.
and see. I'd like to wait and see what's left over.
Yeah.
We can give
Revisit.
little stuff here and there. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll look at that at the end. Next one is the musical. A little side note, they last year, if anybody is worried about them using, they did have a show last year. They had all the expenses of a full-blown show, and they just didn't have the audience to, and because of COVID, they weren't able to. So they did use all of their money last year. Initially I was thinking they didn't, and it would roll over to this year, but okay. So back to the musical.
I'm a strong yes for that.
I'm a strong
I am
yes.
too.
I'm a yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You.
I wish they asked for more.
I didn't. Is there a cap? I didn't. Is there a cap on what they can ask for? Oh,
No, they're not 30. No, I don't believe so.
No, but we can't give them more than they asked for.
right. But somebody could let them know that there is not. I'm only joking.
All right. So that's a definite yes.
Yeah.
Chainsaws, cheeseburgers, and rock and roll.
I was a definite yes for that one.
I loved that one.
There was, I think, one. Yeah, that's the. Is that the one that's opening for the library?
No.
No, that's the Tails and Tales. I have a big yes next to it.
This is a motivational speaker. It said it's geared most towards middle school than high school. I think it's to impact middle schoolers before they get to high school.
Right.
But I know in the past we've talked about, like, it's a one-person motivational speaker, and it's a Zoom,
Yeah.
and it's $500. So that one person is asking $500 in salary. So it might be something that we definitely put on the list, but we look at adjusting the amount of money.
Yeah.
Whereas, we've got a veteran band of 10 people who they're actually getting $60 an hour, whereas this guy's going to get paid $500 an hour.
Right. I agree with you, Joe.
Yeah.
So maybe at the end, we'll see what we have left, but I do like the idea of this for middle school students.
I do too.
Did you actually visit the website to see a show or any of the videos?
I did not.
Because this guy is, if I would just say before you vote on him, you should see that, because he's the top tier out of the whole group. His show is the most impactful, and I think has the best message for the COVID-19 stuff for the 500.
Oh, good.
Well,
I come from a musical family background.
I think we definitely want to do it, but just looking at, if we've only got $800 left and we have 3 people and $1,500, one guy.
I got you. I'm just saying, if you read the impact statements and the referrals from the students and he did the commencement for he got the honorary doctorate from New Hampshire. I think it's Keene University. And then he was their commencement speaker. And if you look on the page for what his credentials are, it's unlike anything else on the list. And look, I'm all for big band music, and I'm a starving artist. So I get the whole play the music instrument for 2 hours for $60. But that guy's message is life-changing. So I'm throwing that out there. If you read the referrals and that's not me saying, that's me parroting what the reviews of the attendees were. I
did go to the website. I agree with you, just because it was so different from everything else we got.
Yeah.
But specifically, if you watch the videos, I think he's probably uniquely qualified for doing a Zoom thing, far better than most. But I totally get what you're saying, and to me, he was my number one pick. But I get it. We have to be careful what we spend money on. So that's my little push.
Okay, we'll come back to that at the end when we are closing in on pinpointing dollars.
Right.
Okay. And the next one, we said no to rites of passage. Henry the Juggler. Okay, so let me throw this out there and you guys can chime in. He doesn't have a location. He said it's our choice. And he mentions mentors and sponsors, but he never says who they are. I think he's looking for sponsors, but I'm not sure that's our position.
I don't think it's our job to find a location for these things either.
I also felt $425 for, not to diminish the skill set of this man, but, if we're comparing it to someone who's a life-altering, inspirational speaker that we were just talking about, maybe we consider that, perhaps at the end instead of the juggler who seems to have, his application doesn't really seem as complete as the others.
Yeah. It doesn't really have a targeted audience, he says. I mean, it doesn't look like he has a targeted audience.
I'd like to direct him to the library or the schools.
Oh, children's and adults schools, sorry. I just saw that.
Or even the Council on Aging. If he could reach out to them, then reapply, get something more solid.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he even says, in case of partial funding, he will work with the sponsor to try come up with additional funds. So to me, I'm gonna say no for my vote for this.
Okay.
But that's just me.
My vote is no, just because I don't think it's complete. I think he needs to put together a program, and he needs to have a location, and he needs to have a target.
Exactly.
Because I think he's punting it to us to direct him to where he's going to do his programs, and I just think that's outside of our bounds. We don't come back and say, "Oh, we'll give you 500 if you do it here."
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
We're taking him right off the list, right?
So Henry comes off the list?
I have him off the list.
Okay.
The next one is Tales and Tales, the summer reading program. I think that's the kickoff for the library.
That's a yes.
Yeah.
So yes, the only thing there that I questioned was the travel
Expenses, yeah.
So I just did $650, but I'm open to what other people think.
Now, can I just ask a question? Because a few of these come up where they're putting in travel expenses. Are they putting that in the off chance that they're able to?
I don't know if they're just putting it in to tell us what's on it for them. It's hard to say.
Well, this show is a definite in-person.
And it's outside though, isn't it?
Oh, it's outside. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Never mind.
He has a date already set up. with the library. It's on Tuesday, June 29th,
Yeah.
6th, you know.
And there was a very strong appeal from the librarian.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So that tells me that that's all coordinated and they're kind of dialed in.
That's a very popular. I know my children grew up going to their kickoffs.
She said that they expect them to reach between 50 and 80 people.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I did see it was outdoor, but then I was thinking like, I don't know, with COVID, is that really going to happen? But I'd say, you know, I'm going to retract my statement and I'd be fine with giving the full 717, you know, regardless of where it shakes out.
I know that the library they are doing programs outside, because I saw something on Facebook where it was like dressed like a princess, or I don't know what it was, but they had all the kids in different parking spots and they did the event outside a couple weeks ago. It was super cute.
That's great.
And so to say the same thing I said with the other one, this is a $500 salary too. So if we're looking at one thing versus another, just keeping that in mind, he's getting $500 plus travel.
Right.
Right.
And going back to that chainsaw one, just a thought that I had, but we kind of moved on and I couldn't unmute myself, is how do we know that chainsaw rock and roll is going to be utilized by our school system? So if we give $500 to it, do we know we're going to get 2,000 kids in our school system watching it? So that was one other question.
The chainsaw guy made mention of he could be available for and maybe I'm misremembering, and I sound like Bill.
Right, but if we approve it, we don't tell the school to use it, or hey, this is out there. So do we know that he's going to be advertising to our school system that this was paid for by your cultural council, so please use it? That's one, you know, one piece of my question. But again, just moving on, I don't want to stay on something that long, but when we come back to talk about numbers after, just, I think he missed that in his piece to us. But so just, I'm just focusing on the salaries and one person, just, that was kind of my focus throughout.
Yeah. I agree.
We can market for $500 an hour.
I can agree with that. I feel like, you know, some of them are asking just for the stipend. And I mean, when we get the reimbursement forms back, you know, Marge and I have to sometimes go back and ask these people to actually fill them out the correct way, because they're sending us information on the reimbursement form that just says, I performed, here's my reimbursement form. And that's not what we want. We want proof with the reimbursement form of, you know, what they asked for. So I am in agreement in a sense about the stipend, because I want these people to do what they're going to do and then we reimburse them, not just say they're going to do it and not get the audience that they said they were going to.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's my opinion. So, all right. So did we approve for Jim Manning? Yes. Did we? Are we going back to
We
him?
were like, probably yes, but I don't think.
Okay. We're going to go
I think
back.
we were yes, but we were questioning the dollar value.
Okay.
Okay. So the next one is the Blues Brothers briefcase concert.
Blues Brothers briefcase. I feel like we've seen this before. I don't know.
We've had the application before. We haven't.
That's what I thought.
I don't know how long ago, but yes, we have. And I don't remember the dollar value. It sounded to me like we should get him in touch with Deb D'Amico and he could be part of the
I
summer
know.
concert
That's what.
series.
Yeah.
That's what he seems like he wants to do it
Yeah.
in that fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did state Conant Park, correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
2-hour concert. He did, I think the salaries are $1,200.
Right, it's $130 per each. They're veterans. They're specifically saying in Southampton. So that's $60 an hour for each of them.
And everybody can access it.
I can't wait to sit in Conant Park and
I
listen.
know.
So they wouldn't necessarily be working with the summer concert series.
No.
I don't.
No, this looks like it's outside of it.
Yeah.
So it's an additional concert out there. I have to say, I like the Blues Brothers. So
I love the Blues Brothers.
I kind of like, I sort of got a little jibed on this one. I'm like, yeah. I do that.
It's telling the story, so it's not even just like they came and played, you know, their music is supposed to tell the story. I suppose that follows the movie, but.
And it's a 10-piece band. I mean, that's a substantial presence.
Yeah.
Well, they've already lowered their price too, because if you look for a 10-piece band, they typically start at $2,000, self-sponsoring by offering $400 off the price. So that to me says something by itself.
Yeah. I just love the fact that one, it is outside and it's not virtual. Two, anyone can go. I mean, whether you're bringing toddlers or you're a senior citizen, you can go. It's right in town and easy to access, and it's free.
Yep.
With free parking and.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to need this once the park opens up.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'm a yes on it. I mean, we can, if we think the amount, like, again, I think all the yeses, we're going to be looking at what we're doing for the funding part of it. But I liked this one. I really thought it was something different coming to town. Again, I'm sort of a Blues Brothers fan, so I thought it was a nice difference that was coming, and it has a broad likability.
So
I'd love to see a 10-piece band in there.
So
Let's see how they're going to fit them in that little clam thing.
Okay, what were you saying, Bob?
I would say my vote for Blues Brothers would be yes.
Jody is yes?
Yeah.
Maybe, okay.
So just to let you know that they did apply in 2017 and we did deny them. So I don't know what their amount was, but anyway.
Thank you for checking.
I'm a yes.
Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Valley Jazz Voices, Karen Allison concert, $300.
Oops. Shoot. Where are we going?
I liked that they had a date, the May 2nd date to it. But I'm just thinking, if we have the summer concert series, if I'm putting support towards the Blues Brothers, this is a Zoom. And I think come spring, people are going to be so sick of Zoom. I'd rather in-person events if possible.
I thought too.
Yeah.
So is this a maybe and see where we stand with funding?
I would say it's a maybe, just because their total project's got a $5,500 budget and they're only asking for $300. So I think that they're obviously organized and they've put a lot of work into it. I do agree 100%. If possible, outdoor in-person events, I'm all over, because I think those would be appreciated by the audience more than anything else.
I know they're very organized. They reached out to every cultural council in the area, and
Where are they doing this?
it's virtual.
So they have a live component at the Northampton Arts Center.
There's a workshop that's on it, so I think it's part recorded Zoom and part workshop. So that is, if we're looking at a bunch of virtual music, that might be something to reconsider once we get to the end, because I think quite a few jazz bands, and some of the other ones I think are all virtual. So it's sort of the virtual and then the live workshop component gives you a little piece of someone's actually going to be spending time there versus charging everybody and then just sending everyone the Zoom, the recorded link.
Right.
I think this is the one where the woman that's the vocalist offers to do like or like a Q&A afterward.
Yeah.
She's like supposed to be some big local vocalist. So yeah. I think I'm not super excited about it, but I think if we're looking at a handful of virtual music presentations, we might want to go back and revisit it if we have some money.
I'd be in favor of tabling for now and coming back.
I would agree with that, just because it's like you said, in the interest of diversity, I would table it and then come back.
Okay. let's do that then.
Because the very next one is a jazz band.
Yeah, the next one is a free concert, which doesn't give a date or a place.
Right.
Well,
Where
yes,
is it?
summer or early fall.
Sounds like it would be a good Conant Park mix too.
Right.
Is this the Ken Longstreet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this one too, in their application, they stated that they'd be able to, if funding was an issue, go down to $750. So I think, that might be something if we're struggling with monies at the end, they'd still be willing to offer it, but they'd adjust from an hour and a half down to an hour for the $750.
It's also a 19-member big band.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, 5 saxes, guitar, piano, bass, and drums, and a vocalist.
Wow.
When
And
is
I think in the past, when they're not telling us like when and where, we're like, but right now, I think it's hard for them to figure out when and where. Like they're hoping to be able to get there and do it in person. But because of COVID, they don't know. So if they don't, we know we're going to have this money next year.
Yeah.
My question would be, was there a date on the Blues Brothers Suitcase concert?
No.
No.
Obviously, it would be a little weird if they were within like a week or two of each other.
Right.
True. And if they're doing something at Conant Park, I think Conant Park is it every other week or once a month in the summertime? Every other week, I think.
I would say the summer concert series is every other week.
Yeah. So they have to squeeze themselves in between there anyway, but that's
Right.
not a problem.
So question on this though, like for this one, it just says Southampton venue to be determined. If we gave them the money, would it be possible for them to come back and say, we can't do it in person, so we're going to switch it to a Zoom, which would be a much different sort of.
I don't know if you could do a 19-person band on Zoom.
Or, some video thing instead. So it would be a virtual concert instead.
Yeah,
I mean, is that something that then they would just change their format, come back and say, well, we want whatever amount of money, even though we did it as a virtual? Okay. So there's something we can hold them accountable to, saying it was supposed to be an in-person, you can't do an in-person, so we're not paying you for a virtual.
Correct. And I would hope that they would reach out first.
Right.
Okay.
I will say, Lucy, if you don't mind, I want to tell them what we did.
Yes. You can tell them.
So I don't mean to speak for the council, but it was just easier and faster. We did let somebody change from last year. They had, was it Tinknell? No.
Yes.
Tinknell, Roger Tinknell.
But it was only the style, right?
Yes, he had the same format,
Right.
but he needed to go virtual and wanted to know if he could do that. And I believe this was with the Council on Aging.
Right.
So we did tell him that was okay.
So they would come back and ask if that's okay before they just changed format and submitted a reimbursement for a virtual concert instead of an in-person concert.
I would hope so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because my only concern is that's a lot different. And if I see an application for something that's a virtual concert, I look at it differently than I do an in-person concert.
Right. Right.
Especially where the money's involved.
I mean, normally, I don't think we've allowed anyone to change the format before. Okay. This was, and did he have it, Marge?
No, it's scheduled for March 13th. I think. It's coming up.
But if he can't have it because of our guidelines, then that's not his fault. But maybe the money he can just carry it over, or no? How would that work?
We let people carry over last year because it didn't happen, and they still want to do it. He is one of them. Okay, so he's still trying to make it happen. And to be honest, everything is
up in the air,
fuzzy this year. We don't know what's going to happen. But I think
that's the question.
At the bottom of the letter, saying any format or scheduling changes, please let us know beforehand.
Yeah, just because, last year was we've never done this before, right? So all of last year threw everybody into sort of a new realm of how we do things. But this year going into it, we can foresee if things don't get straightened out by May and somebody's planning an event in May, you know, there's a strong possibility they may have to change what they were hoping for to be something that they can manage. And I just didn't know how, again, we're in uncharted territory, how we manage that. Because I wouldn't necessarily support it at the same level if it changes formats that drastically. I may still support it, but just not to the same extent.
So I would like to put that note on the bottom of every letter.
I think that's a good idea.
Changes, because I don't want someone to say, oh, they don't care, and then submit and realize they're not getting their $700 or $1,300 or whatever.
Right. Because I think we can foresee something now. You know, we're not in the same boat last year where we allocated a bunch of money and then people had to change or cancel or do whatever. Now we have that. And I think adding something like that to put them on notice that they need to notify us of that is going to go a long way towards us not sitting, you know, and having discussions with people about why they didn't get reimbursed.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. And we did follow-up letters also. John, you want to tell them we did some follow-up letters to people that, you know, if we didn't hear from them what was happening. So that was a good idea that we did a couple weeks ago, right, Marge?
I think it was in December. So anybody that hadn't asked for reimbursement yet, we wanted to know, are you canceling? Are you rolling over?
Postponing?
No, because if that money's getting turned over, we want to be able to use it again. Right. So, and that's how actually part of the money, Celebrate Southampton didn't happen last year. She could have kept the 300 rolled over. We gave her that option, or she turned it back and she asked for 700 last year. We only gave them 300. So she said, I think our chances are that if we turn it back, we might get more this year. So I did try to, so that was her choice, but that came out from the letters that we sent in December.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So I will definitely put that at the bottom. So are we in favor of Ken Longstreet and the free concert and letting him figure out a venue?
Keep going. We're gonna get cold.
I'll be right back.
We're really good.
Let's see.
I'm totally muted here. Sorry. I love it. I'm thinking of perhaps tabling it just so that we can see if we have a breadth of art being represented with our funding. There's a lot of music, which is a passion of mine, but I want to make sure that we go through and see we have enough for more of a breadth.
I would think if we're going to do the music, then like if we pick a big band, I'd probably pick one big band. I don't think two big bands with the limited we have. I don't think really celebrating that diversity we talked about in the beginning.
Right.
I agree.
Right. And I see at the bottom of their application, it says in-kind donation of $40 per musician. So I don't know, going back to what Jody's saying about stipends, I don't know. I would be in favor of tabling until we get to the bottom. So that's my vote, but.
Okay.
I think the tabling is a good idea, and I like that they're willing to accept less. I mean, they're not going to say no, but so that there's a $5 buffer there too that we can keep in mind.
I just want to remind you, Marge, that we only have till 1 o'clock because we have a 2-hour window. Yeah, I don't know why they gave us 2 hours, but that's all we have for Zoom. So just so you know, everybody.
It's 11:55. We got an hour left. I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, we're doing great. Yeah, we're doing great.
So the next one is the community climate hikes, and that's the Arcadia Mass Autobahn, which I think this is a fantastic idea, and I will sign up for it.
I totally agree.
Yes.
I like that they're using the Southampton properties too. It's not, an Arcadia thing at Arcadia.
Mhm.
And there's 3 separate walks too, so it allows for an opportunity for different groups of people to get together. And I always support the whole Arcadia everything. It's usually pennies they're asking for based on what they're doing, because it's bumping onto existing grants and stuff like that, and they're just expanding into communities. So I'm all about that.
Yeah, I'm all in on this one. I feel like the pricing's fair too.
Okay.
That's a yes.
Yes for everybody?
I believe it is.
Thank you. Next one. Celebrate Southampton. Okay, I did already give you the background of this. They turned back the 300 from last year. They're asking again for 7, and the event didn't take place. So I'm assuming all of their effort is going into this year. It's usually, I don't know if there was a date on it. I want to say August.
August. It is August.
13th, and it's 13th and 14th, and I can't vote on this one because my boys are participating. They've been asked to.
Okay.
I love it. My only hesitation is the fee for the bounce house.
The fee for
What?
I noticed that too.
I believe it's a 300 of the 700 is for a bounce house, but I
Oh,
could be
yeah.
wrong.
It is. You're right.
So I thought 400 would be good, unless we could do 7. I don't know, like, can we do 7? Would we be able to do 7, and then if they don't do the bounce house, that could carry it? Like, how does that work?
I would just give them the 400 and then they can figure that out.
400 is more than they got last year.
Yeah.
And we didn't give them the full funding last year either.
I noticed the same thing. The bounce house to me was an immediate, I can't see that happening.
COVID flag.
Yeah.
There's got to be an insurance waiver they got to take out for that too.
Who would have thought we'd be saying this? Like,
Okay, so we'll say 400.
And just saying, go and see it, because Ethan's going to have his glass blowing going and Aiden's going to have his blacksmithing going. So
oh, cool.
they're excited.
Oh,
Will they know, will they be, in the letter that's written to them, will they know that it was only that certain amount of dollar because of the bounce house?
No.
Not our job.
the letter won't say that, but I can definitely text Tammy and let her know
Right.
after
Maybe
the fact.
next year they could word it differently, or something kid-friendly other than the bounce house. If
I don't think it's an annual event anyway. I think this postponement is because they didn't have it last year. But yeah, I will let her know why. Just probably not specific in the letter.
I think they want it to be an annual event
Oh, really?
because it takes place for the Celebrate Homes.
Oh,
That Southampton used to do, the home tours.
Homestay. Yeah.
So I think that's what they were trying to do to replace that. And I have a feeling that next year, 2022, is going to be even bigger for them
Oh,
because also it's the 50th birthday of Hampshire Regional High School. And I know that there's plans to do a big thing with Hampshire to celebrate that. And Southampton wanted to take part in that. So,
cool.
so maybe next year if they put in for more, I don't know. But just, it does replace the home thing that was used to do in August. So, but anyway. All right, moving on.
Next one is the Hilltown Families, and
Even to them?
I loved it. I mean, I like the whole.
Yeah, I like it.
It's different. It's
Oh, yes, on that. Just I thought bang for the dollar. It's like for $400, you get 52 weeks that anybody can have access to. That seemed to me like, yes.
They've come up before though, haven't they?
They have.
yes.
And
Yeah.
What they were doing before was I think they were setting up their website. They were new like 2 years ago.
Okay.
They applied every sometimes we've given them the full amount, sometimes we've given them less. I think there was 1 year where we didn't give them anything.
Okay, that's what I was remembering, and I couldn't remember why.
Yeah.
Because our budget was so small that year.
Okay.
I think we were trying to hit most of the Southampton ones and have a balanced population just with specific Southampton and because the budget was so small, that seemed to be like a straggler that was at the end that we were trying to decide on.
Okay. I just remember them coming up, and I remember us not funding them, and I couldn't remember why we hadn't funded, because every time I read it, I'm like, I like this idea, so why are we not doing it?
No, it was just short budget year for that one.
Okay, so we'll say yes to them. And the last one is Hip Hop Around the World, Council on Aging, dance.
That's a PowerPoint and an educational video, right? The only expense is salaries. It was going to take place Black History Month, which is now.
Why is it May?
Too late for that, yeah.
I picked up all my stuff.
This is the only one that's from the Council on Aging, right?
Yes.
Because we don't have John Root this year.
We don't have the watercolors, none of that, because they can't.
Right.
have
And
the same
Roger
color.
postponed to this year. So he's still doing a Council on Aging event, but it was from last year. So
Was this one requested by the Council on Aging? It was, right?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So it wasn't hip hop. It was the Council on Aging that actually requested it.
Yeah.
It's just, I wonder, how is the council on, like, how many elderly are going to sign into this? It's a educational video. Like, I understand that it's coming from the Council on Aging, and I feel like we should just approve it because they haven't asked for anything, and hopefully they vetted this to think that they're going to get some participation. It just makes me question, though, like, how many of the elderly community are going to die? Maybe they will. They're all learning how to Zoom so they can see their grandkids and everything. I mean,
Well, I'll tell you, my wife does videos with different senior centers, and it's been amazing to see the turnout.
yeah,
And
How much are they? Where is it?
it's all salary.
Yep.
well, her total project is 480, and she's requesting 380, so
$380.
$100 of
Okay.
Yeah.
And she also says that they will go to the parent committee for additional funding if necessary, which is the Council on Aging.
Right.
I have a thing, like in the past, I think the Council on Aging has sent their events to us for the money instead of them doing their own budget.
Right.
And they have a budget.
They do. They do get grants.
I think it's a good thing. I just,
but-
I agree. Like maybe the 480 is a little, the 380 maybe even is a little bit much. But what do you guys think about splitting it with the Council on Aging?
So that's what I was going to suggest is do half and half.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
That would give us more flexibility for spreading things around.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
a 240, half of the original budget, or half of the 380?
Well, they say that they're getting from Music Dance Parent Committee $100.
Well, maybe just keep it simple and do 200.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just 200.
Are we still there? I left the room for a second. We're still
Yeah.
on Council on Aging.
Yeah.
The only thing that I want to say about that is that they're specifically requesting that. So they must feel that it's going to be utilized completely, totally.
Well, why don't we just put it on and put 380 and put a question mark and see?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we've got to fund it. It's the only thing that they're asking for.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Okay, so 380.
And we don't have anything else geared specifically to the elderly, you know?
Okay. So does anybody have a spreadsheet open?
I do.
You do. Can you tell us where we're at with money?
Can we go from the bottom up? So 380,
Yep.
400 for the Hilltop,
Yep.
400 for Celebrate Southampton,
Yep.
out the bounce house. I think we said 600 for the hikes.
Yep.
We got stuck on the, let me just give you the definites. Okay, and then we'll come back. Is that all right?
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good.
717 for the summer reading. Arson for 9349. Which one is that one? Hampshire musical.
Hampshire.
1,800 for the summer concerts.
No, they're using their money from last year, so that's zero.
Oh, okay, sorry, I got that wrong. Hold on. I think the maybes that I have here was the festival in Worthington, for 1,000, the $500 for the cheeseburgers, $300 for the Allison concert. But correct me if I'm wrong.
The only definite yeses that I had written down, and I may have written them down wrong, was the Hampshire Regional, the Chainsaws, the Tales in Summer, Blues Brothers, Hikes, Celebrate Southampton, Hilltown Families, and Hip Hop Around the World.
Oh, I guess I didn't have Chainsaws because I thought that was a maybe at the end.
That was up in the air, I think we were considering.
I thought we said yes to it, but we would discuss the money amount.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I have too.
If we say yes to that, Margie, if you put that in a letter, do you have to say like the reimbursement is based on that being utilized within our community school, like Southampton or Hampshire Regional?
I was going to put in like contact information to Hampshire Regional.
So implying that he has to do it through Hampshire Regional, because he says middle school or high school. So I guess it's part Norris, part Hampshire Regional kind of. But he would get the idea that he can't just go and, oh, Easthampton wanted to use us and, thanks for the money, Southampton.
Yeah, I guess we could put a stipulation that we love the idea and here's the contact information for Hampshire Regional. They'll be waiting to hear from you.
Yeah. Well, because that would make me feel like it's a go. Like, I think it's so great, but it's vague it doesn't say, I'm going to reach out to Norris or Hampshire Regional. It just says, I'm such a great motivational speaker,
I think his whole thing is that his message is such a universal message. What I got out of it was because it's a virtual presentation, it could be in schools or on a cable channel because he comes from such a background of experience. I think it said somewhere in there something about it was up to us. I'm trying to remember what it said.
But the cable channel is so old now.
I agree with you 100%. Your cable channel, you're going to hit 0.5% of the people, but
we don't even have it.
With a little bit of promotion, I think that would probably be the easiest to get people to sign on for of anything that's on the board because it's.
Except if he does it with the school system. I mean, they could literally integrate that into.
That's my point. I think the whole thing says school program.
Yeah.
So his only intended audience is school program. And then he says peripherally, other people can tag in if they're interested. That's how I read it. So I just thought to me for the 500, I think that he'll reach more. And it was the power of that's his specific message of you can be whatever you imagine. Timely of anything we had on the list.
But just stipulating that it is specifically dark, because people who aren't from around here don't know that Southampton isn't part of the Easthampton community. I mean, it's not that we aren't, but, we're a little harder to reach, I think, along with like the Hampshire Regional section of kids.
I agree.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I think that right now, this is my own opinion. I think teenagers and middle schoolers need some motivation right now. And we have a lot of music going on out there that we are going to fund. So to me, I mean, give him something. If we can.
I'm all for giving him the whole thing. If, like Jody said, I just want to tell him we're stipulating that he did something with Hampshire Regional, with our students.
Right. I agree.
Okay.
Who would he reach out to for that? Or who would reach out to him for that from the?
I'm going to give him Kristen Smitty.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you might as well start there.
That would be fabulous. She would.
Jody, were you worried about like access, like just the fact that it's cable? Because I would think he'd be able to put it on like a Zoom and that the teacher could log into his presentation that way. I mean,
Or he could do a Facebook live stream.
right, right.
Any kind of Instagram. I mean, these kids are all on Instagram
Yeah,
live.
my worry isn't how people are going to access it. It's like if it's going to go on cable, most people won't even pay attention. Like just making sure. I think this is really great, and I think it's fantastic and in our school system. But it's somewhat vague. Like I've reached out to Kristen Smitty, and if this happens, we will be doing it. It doesn't say that, and so I want to make sure he knows. If we're giving you the 500 and you're asking for reimbursement, it's going to be with our kids. And so here's the person.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And Kristen would probably take it and she would like integrate it into the COVID support. I mean, and everybody that's a mandatory class now. So.
And Norris could have it for 6th grade, right? If it's middle school.
Yeah, it says you can access 2,000 people on the platform. And if you just have 2 schools accessing it, that's 2 out of 2,000. So it really leaves the opportunity to opening it to the community too.
Right.
Yeah, that was my point, is that in terms of bang for the dollar, it's up, depending on how it's promoted. I mean, he could be in 100 schools at once. His message, but I think that there's an interactive component. I don't think he like hits play and then it just plays. So I'm not really sure exactly what the content is. I was just blown away by the whole package.
And I think that may perhaps for spring of 2021, this probably isn't for Hampshire, but what a great kickoff for next fall for the high school to have an inspirational speaker and say, hey, look, hopefully most of us have all had our vaccines and we're starting to become more normal. I think that would be fantastic for the kids.
Well, I noticed in the comments, one of the school systems said that they rolled his program on the last day of school for the high school.
Yeah, I did read that.
I thought that was a pretty spectacular, like to me, that resonated really powerfully.
It was for seniors that were heading off to,
Oh, that's cool. And for our seniors who haven't had the best right now.
Yeah, to get such a positive message from the town itself, I thought that just like sent shivers up my spine, just because there's so many times, we all have kids. So I think to get something that's that positive and that powerful, that also is on a platform they resonate with, I think is
Yeah.
So I think I can put that in the letter. That's yes, to Hampshire specific. Here's the contact information. Maybe even give the contact information for Norris. Yeah.
How about just giving them the contact? Well, I don't want to speak out of turn, but like, who would the contact be? Like, is there any specific person who does that kind of stuff?
Well, you could always do John Ford too, because he does the activities, but
I was thinking
that could be a day activity.
Student activities, yep.
Yeah,
I'd rather just give it to Kristen and let her deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then maybe Elisa Pluta at Norris.
Yeah. Who is it? Lisa Pluta?
Elisa.
A-L-I-Z-I-A. Right.
Okay. Okay. Done. So, so then we are up to, so we have a 1, 2, 3. I don't know. What are we up to, Judy, for dollars?
Okay, so
I've got $39.97.
Did we say
Really?
yes to the Blues Brothers?
so
We were still.
I think we're balancing them with all the other music, and we're going to go back and try and figure out which. But they are an in-person as well as Jeff Gavoli. I would say yes out of all the music. I think that it's this a little different.
I would agree. For the music, the Blues Brothers would be my first choice.
Yeah. And I'm a little rolling towards it too, because it's an all veterans band, and I think it just shows more you know, we're a little bit of a closed community, I think, in Southampton. I think it just kind of just gives a thumbs up with all the stuff that's going on, you know?
I'm a yes for that. I'm a yes for Blues Brothers.
Okay. Which ones were we going back to?
So what do we have left for money?
According to my math, we're at 5,600.
So we have,
Okay, wait. Let's try to get on the same page.
Yeah.
I have the Hampshire Music Booster 500, Jesse Green 500.
Wait.
Wait,
we're
the
only doing
Hampshire's
5,000? Hampshire's
I'm sorry, Hampshire's 1,000.
Yeah.
The Chainsaw Guys 500.
Yeah.
Tails and Tails, is that 717 or 500?
717.
717. Okay. 1,600 for the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
I plugged in 750 for Ken Longstreet. Did I take that out?
Oh, I didn't.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
we tabled that one we were coming back to.
Right.
Then 600, 400, 400, 380, the last five.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's 5597. So to Bob's point, we're at 5,600.
Okay. Anybody chime in?
Can we circle back to the 7 concerts?
To who?
The
The
7
Seveners, yeah.
Washington.
Yep. Worthington Classical Jazz.
Yeah, I love that concert, but I think that given the Southampton specific mission, I feel like we got to let that one go. That one kills me because that's such a beautiful.
And we had, which other ones? I'm just looking at my list of ones that we had tabled, and that was one.
Can we eliminate the Longstreet? Because that's $1,200 and we don't even have that much left.
Which one was that?
Ken Longstreet, the Jeff Gavioli and his
Okay.
Back Blues Jazz. That
Did
one.
we say no to him?
Say no to that one.
I'm so sorry. I didn't print out the form. I did take notes, but which one was the Worthington?
7 hours?
That's the 7 hours.
And we're saying no to 7 hours?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that we.
Yeah.
Marge, can you go down your list of yeses again? I'm sorry.
Sure. I have the Hampshire Music Boosters for 1,000.
Yeah.
The Jesse the Machine for 500.
Okay.
Tails and Tails for the library, 717.
Yeah.
Blues Brothers, 1,600.
Yeah.
And then the last four.
Okay, that's what I had. But of the last four,
Except which, oh no, Celebrate Southampton, we said was 400.
400 instead of 700. Yes, thank you. Sorry about that.
Bounce House.
Hotel Family.
So we have almost 1,200 left if we want to go back and add or.
Can we eliminate the duo pianist from New York or Eastern Mass? I forget what it was. That's 750.
Yep, I thought we were. Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just double
Yeah,
checking.
that was a probably
Yep.
no.
Is
I
that a
think.
no? Yep, that was a
Sorry.
no. That's all right.
Too many sheets of paper. Marilyn Moran.
Oh, you don't even know the half of all the paper Marge and I have.
What do you
How
guys-
about adding the artist mentoring program?
I'm good with that because we don't have anything that's like that at all.
Yeah.
that's the 350, right?
Yeah.
Great.
And we said, and the River Stories was definite no, right?
Correct.
That it is no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The
what,
Valley Jazz Voices 42353 for 300. I think I had that as like someone wanting to come back for a maybe on that for 300 as well.
oh yeah. So
That's our balance right now. So we have 6786.
$800 roughly.
I'd almost rather, I don't know. I know it's a lot of music, but 750, it's a live situation for that 1250 concert where they said we could get it down to an hour for 750 instead.
But that's another big band, and we're already doing a big band, aren't we?
It's also jazz with the blues. We already have the blues.
Another, yeah.
Okay, so that's a no. We know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just thinking live's better than the pre-recorded virtuals.
The
So the
library
only thing
did
left
not-
is,
Yeah,
the
there's,
Didn't put in for museum passes this year?
no, but I think
Nope.
it's because the museum's closed, like with COVID.
No, the museum's open. You just have to reserve it.
No, she didn't. That's strange.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, and they actually even turned back $50 from last year
Yeah.
Really?
because they weren't able to use it. Yeah.
oh, that's an amazing, we use that all the time.
Yeah.
We live there, I think, with the library pass.
Maybe they just missed the cutoff. I don't know.
So what's left? I mean, is there anything else that the money,
Did we table the recital film?
was that the opera in Northampton?
That was
That's
The only one I have that we don't have a decision on.
Yes, it is. That's 400. And then I don't know if we've really firmed up Karen Allison Valley Jazz.
Oh, okay.
And if we could do both of them and still be fine.
I would do those two.
I
How
would.
much money do we want to carry over for next year?
Only 5%, did they say?
5% of 67.
5,700. We can't do 5%. I don't think of the whole budget. I think just of what was granted. I think.
Yeah, right. Yes, it's only of the amount that was allocated.
And what was that?
5,700. So we can keep 285.
I would say keep 285 because I'm hoping next year a lot more ones that we normally see will come back to us, such as the museum passes, and just to, I don't know how much the state's going to give us next year.
I agree.
Do we still have 550 if we reserve the 285?
I was at 59.47. Are my numbers incorrect?
Did you add the 285?
What was the 285?
If that's the reserve, we would set aside.
So now I'm at 62.32?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got 550 and we still have open the recital film, which is the opera, and the Valley Jazz Karen Allison concert.
Do we think that there would be, not to be culturally insensitive, but I'm not, is anybody else super interested in the opera? Okay, so then I would eliminate the opera.
I think that's a good call.
I mean, I'm curious about it, but I just don't think that they would get.
They were also the ones that had 1,350 left over from last year or rolled over from last year from other LCCs.
The recital one is the one that has the, I need to go look at their thing again.
That was the one we just did. Well, there was two recitals. There was the dual pianos and the
Right.
opera.
Oh,
The opera was.
The opera was in Northampton, right at the.
oh, okay. The mentoring one was the Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
okay.
already funded that, right?
We are not funding that, right?
Yes,
No, we are.
Oh, we are.
Yep.
The artist mentoring for 350, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And how much did they ask for? Just go back.
So the last two were 750 and 300.
Oh,
mention there because the Valley Jazz Voices, they don't have a venue. They don't. At least I'm looking through it again just to make sure. Oh no, they do. May 2nd. It's a virtual concert. I don't know. Part of me.
Can we fund all of Celebrate Southampton with the extra money, and they could decide on what they want to do with the bounce house money? Or,
I mean, maybe we can give them the more money and, with the stipulation that, there's a concern about a bounce house. I don't know, Marge.
I like that idea.
because that's pretty.
Marge, can we do that
If
in
we
your
can't
letter?
use the bounce house, they're gonna use that money for something other than a bounce house for the kids, you know?
Right, yeah.
And usually the bounce houses from town, they were donated. I mean, whenever we had them for scouts, they were always donated.
Yeah.
That's my thought. In the things that I've done in the past, we always encourage local businesses, and they've got a number of options for that. So I love the idea of increasing the donation to Celebrate Southampton. I think that's a genius.
Yeah, I think so too, Marge. And only because also the fact that they gave back the 300 that we gave them. So they might be able to do a little bit more with it.
And they involve the whole community. They involve
exactly and
young families, the SYAA. They involve everyone.
And hopefully, with it'll be a better thing this year because we'll be, a little bit further into being aware about COVID and getting through it. So
there's still $254 if we fully fund. Excuse me?
The Valley Voices, just give them the 250 and then we're done.
See, I'd rather give it to the 7 Hours concert because that's in person and the Valley.
Oh, I would love to do that.
I would rather do that.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
That is.
I would be okay with giving it to the 7 Hours.
So we're not doing Valley Jazz then, and we're going back to the Seveners with 250.
254. We'll just
nice round number. Can we just go through to make sure that
we
have everybody at what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay. So we said going down the program, arts mentoring, 350 is a yes.
Who is
the
that?
Recital, the arts mentoring program.
Okay. Yep.
The recital film is a no.
Right.
The next yes goes down to the 7 Hours for 254. Then the musical for 1,000.
Yep.
Chainsaws and cheeseburgers for 500.
Yeah,
like Jeopardy.
That sounds like Jeopardy. The way you said that, Lucky. I'll have chainsaws and cheeseburgers for 500.
The next one is Tails and Tales for 717. Blues Brothers for 1,600. And then the last four, 600, 700, 400, 380.
Okay, that's what I got.
Oh, it feels so good.
Good.
Is everybody's okay with all of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Let me go over, there were a couple that I'm going to do some stipulations. Celebrate Southampton, we want to just tell them we're not in favor of the bounce house, or if they if they can tell us it's donated, that would be wonderful. Okay. The next one is going to be the motivational speaker, Chainsaws and Cheeseburgers. We want to give him the contact information for Norris and Hampshire Regional and specify that we want it our community.
I would definitely specify in the letter that we would like it to be focused in our community. Did you freeze? Marge?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
She was still writing.
Oh, she's calling me. Hi. Look. Hello? Did you freeze?
My battery died. Sorry.
Hi. Here she is. She's with me. So Marge is with me.
Expecting that.
That's okay. So, do you want to go down the list, Marge, or
I think that
we're good?
that let's see, the Nolan Baker is after the river stories. We wanted, even in the denial letter, ask him to reach out next year. He needs to be more specific
Yes.
about his audience and time. And the juggler, we want him to reach out to the library, the schools, council on aging, and we'd be happy to entertain his application next year.
Right. Yep. That's in the denial letter. Yep.
And I think that's it. Anything else?
I don't have anything.
We're good. Do you want to just so everybody's, I don't know, should we do we need to do a vote? Like we are voting on this amount of money, blah, blah, blah. Nope, sorry.
I would, only to ward off what might have happened last year.
I think we need to do that, Marge. We need to take a vote.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want me to run down the totals or just the total vote?
I think you should run down the totals and then run down the total vote, please.
Okay. All right. So from the top, I will give you the program and the dollar value.
Okay, please.
And this is from the top page of the panel book.
Okay.
The Arts Mentoring Program for $350.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Seminars Music Festival for $254.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Hampshire Regional Musical, 1,000.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Chainsaws, Cheeseburgers, and Rock and Roll for $500.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Tales and Tales Summer Reading Program for $717.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Blues Brothers Briefcase Concert, $1,600.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
The next one is the Southampton Community Climate Hikes for $600.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Celebrate Southampton for $700.
Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Lucy, this is,
And Matt has a one abstain.
I have to abstain from this one.
Okay.
Yep, so I would just make a note.
Yep, I got it.
Are we pausing?
Nope, I'm taking
Okay.
a note.
The next one is the Hilltown Families for $400.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And the last one is the Hip Hop Around the World Council on Aging, $380.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I would also do a vote just collectively of the
Total
ones.
Oh, hold on.
1,786 minus the 285 that we are going to hold for holdover.
And are you
For next
minusing out? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
I would also, just as a matter of protocol, do a vote with just listing the ones that we chose not to vote, that we
Yep.
chose not to fund, and that those are also, they were voted on unanimously, whatever.
I agree. Do you want to
Okay,
do that,
so-
March? Go down the
Go down
denials?
the unfunded.
Yep.
Yep.
Recital film, unfunded.
Aye.
Nay.
No.
Aye.
Aye.
I to not fund.
I vote to not fund. Unfund.
Okay, so we'll just say nay.
Nay,
For that.
okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Recital film, 400. Nay.
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 Duo pianists, composers, nay.
Nay.
Southampton Free Concert withdrew their application.
Okay.
River Stories for Valley Classrooms is a nay.
Nay.
No.
Rites of Passage is a nay.
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 Henry the Juggler is a nay.
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 Valley Jazz Voices Karen Allison Concert is a nay.
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 The Free Concert by Jeff Gavioli is nay.
Nay.
And that tackles all of our applicants.
Okay.
Yay.
All right. Good. All right. I think we're good, right?
Great.
Can I just ask a quick
Okay,
question?
thank you all for
hold
your
on.
participation.
Wait, Marge, Dina has a question. Dina
I
has
just
a
have a
question.
quick question. I'm being new to this. Is there like a page when events happen that it's going to be listed or no? That's just for up to us to find it.
What do you mean? Like,
I don't know. How do we know when these events are going on? Is it
well, that's up to the event person who
okay? So
markets themselves.
with us.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the cultural council doesn't. We don't promote them.
Okay.
So, we're just the funding source.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Anybody hears when the Acadia hikes are going to be happening? Please let me know, because that sounds like a really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think probably that might be put in the senior center newsletter, and they might put it on the website for open space, might put it up there. I'm not sure. So
They also said in the application they're going to coordinate with the Conservation Commission as guides. So maybe check their page too.
Okay. Good.
right. So
I
they
will put that at the bottom of the letters too, if everybody is okay with that, just to reach out to, who's the webmaster for the town of Southampton?
you have to send it to Ed. The town
Okay,
administrator.
so I can send his contact information or his email address,
Yeah.
and then they could have something posted at least on the town of Southampton's website.
Yeah.
That would be,
For the
that'd
council.
be great.
Yeah. Yep. Or I mean,
Sound good?
yeah. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So I am going to motion to adjourn our meeting at what time is it? I don't even know.
12:37.
12:37 on February 6th, 2021.
Second.
All
Thank
in
you all
favor?
for your
Aye.
participation.
Thank you.
Wait, who motioned? Wait,
Are we all done for 2021?
wait, did someone motion to
I
adjourn?
seconded your motion.
Okay. I mean, seconded. Yeah. Sorry.
Yep.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
All right.
Well, last question. Are there any other 2021, is there anything else cultural council? Are we all done for the year? Or
That's it for the year.
That's it for the
It's the
year.
best job you'll ever have.
yeah, thank you very much.
With their application, then I might reach out.
Yeah. See how easy that was? Now we'll
Yeah.
reach out again back in December.
No, well, yeah, it'll
For
be December,
2022.
maybe November.
Yeah. Right. For 2022. So,
Okay, thank
all
you.
right. All right. Thank you all. All
Bye,
right.
everybody. See you next.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah. Okay. Be safe, everybody. Wear your masks.
Too. Hope you feel better.
Bye.